The oriental dwarf kingfisher, Ceyx erithaca, also known as the black-backed kingfisher or three-toed kingfisher, is a pocket-sized bird in the family Alcedinidae. This tropical kingfisher is a partial migrant that is endemic across much of the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. It resides in lowland forests, typically near streams or ponds, where it feeds upon insects, spiders, worms, crabs, fish, frogs, and lizards. This small bird is easily distinguishable from other birds in its range due to its red bill, yellow-orange underparts, lilac-rufous upperparts, and blue-black back. The oriental dwarf kingfisher is one of the smallest known kingfisher species. It is only slightly larger than a medium-sized hummingbird and measures 12.5 to 14 centimeters in length, including bill and tail. Females typically weigh 14 to 16 grams and males 14 to 21.5 grams, making the males slightly larger. The two sexes are otherwise alike and sexual dimorphism is not present. Both males and females have a black spot on the forehead, blue and white patches on the side of the neck, a lilac-rufous crown, rump, and tail, a dark blue back and wings, a white chin and throat, pale yellow-orange underparts, a dark brown iris, and red legs, feet, and bill. Juveniles are duller and have less lilac coloring, a white chin, throat, and belly, yellow-orange bill with pale tip, and blue scapulars and wing covers. This species of kingfisher has 3 toes, explaining why it is sometimes called the three-toed kingfisher. However, there are other kingfishers which also have 3 toes. The toe count in these kingfisher species does not appear to be adaptive. Kingfishers, Alcedinidae, are a family of approximately 114 species belonging to the pantropical avian order Coryciformes. Members of this family range in size from the 9 grams African dwarf kingfisher, Ceyx leconte, to the 500 grams laughing kookaburra, Dacelo noviginea, despite their name. Members of this family are not all piscivorous and many are found far from water and are predators to terrestrial invertebrates and small vertebrates. This family is largely tropical, however. There are a few species which have adapted to temperate regions. This family can be further divided into the 3 subfamilies, Halcyon, Cerulini, and Alcedinidae, the pygmy kingfishers. The subfamily Alcedinidae is distributed across tropical Africa and Asia, south into northern Australia and Melanesia, and north into Europe and temperate Asia. As implied by their name, pygmy kingfishers are relatively tiny compared to other kingfishers. Other than their size, kingfishers in this subfamily are also characterized by their bright colors. Their habitats range from dense forest to woodland savanna, and they can also be found along waterways in both wooded and open terrain. Within the Alcedinidae subfamily is the genus Ceyx. Species in this genus are characterized by their terrestrial habitats. Their diet, which consists mostly of insects, their dorso-ventrally flattened orange bills and their more rufous upper parts. Within this genus, molecular data indicates that C. erithaca forms a well-supported clade of 3-toed pygmy kingfishers that includes C. melanoris, C. lepidus, C. argentatus and C. cyanopectus. Erithaca comprises 2 principal color morphs. The black morph, the black-backed kingfisher or oriental dwarf kingfisher, and the rufous morph, which is sometimes designated as a separate species, the rufous kingfisher, C. rufidorsa. A recent study has revealed genetic differences between C. erithaca and C. rufidorsa, suggesting that they are not morphs, but 2 distinct lineages. The study suggests that the extensive color polymorphism may have resulted from introgressive hybridization that occurred in the distant past, when the 2 morphs were diverging from one another. The oriental dwarf kingfisher is a forest and wetland-dwelling species that is endemic across much of the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. Populations have been found in Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei, Cambodia, China, India, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka and Vietnam. It is most commonly found in deciduous and evergreen primary and secondary forests, but also in alluvial forests, mangroves, overgrown rubber gardens, or in dense aggregations of palms, bamboos, or shrubs. They tend to keep near forest streams and ponds, but their nests are often well away from water. They keep low to the ground and are known to perch and fly within 1 to 2 meters of the forest floor. Their preferred habitat is densely shaded forest lowlands near small streams or ponds. The lowlands they are present in typically do not exceed 1,000 to 1,300 meters in elevation. The northern populations winter in the southern parts of the breeding range and the species is defined as a partial migrant. They often migrate south towards peninsular Malaysia from August to September and return north in March. Large numbers of night-flying migrants are reported from August to December at Maxwell's Hill and at Fraser's Hill in Malaysia, as well as at light stations on many islands up to 60 kilometers off the western coast. It is still uncertain whether the most northerly parts of the species range are vacated during the winter. The oriental dwarf kingfisher is also a breeding visitor across much of the range in India, but its movements here are still uncertain. Egg laying occurs from July to September in southwest India, February to July in Sri Lanka, April to May in northeast India, March to July in peninsular Malaysia, March in Sumatra, and from December to May in Java. Nests are built in stream banks, road cuttings, terrestrial termitariums, or in soil near roots of a fallen tree, often well away from water. Together, the male and female excavate a horizontal tunnel that is 15 to 100 centimeters long, 3.8 to 4.5 centimeters in diameter, and ends in an unlined egg chamber. One pair dug 25 centimeters of their burrow, in sand, in about 40 minutes. The unlined chamber is 10 to 15 centimeters wide and 5 to 7 centimeters high. Both the tunnel and egg chamber are inclined upwards, which is thought to minimize water entry into the chamber and to help the flow of waste material out of the nest. The generation time is approximately 4.2 years. A typical clutch size is 3 to 7 eggs, averaging to around 5 eggs per clutch. The eggs are laid in the morning with a 1-day interval in between.